Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate all you joining me this afternoon. My name is Nick Szpur. I'm the Director of Inside Sales for the New York Mets. So excited for today's presentation over the next hour. Do encourage you guys to leave your cameras on and definitely feel free to participate. Friendly warning about my presentation style. I try to be a little bit more engaging and interactive. So, might throw some questions out there to the group. No right or wrong answers, but, definitely feel free to participate throughout. All right. As far as today's agenda, we're going to talk through a career in sports, a career in sales, about our inside sales program, the pillars of our program as far as what we value in candidates and what it takes to be successful. We're going to talk through a little bit of a training topic around interviewing to put you guys in a position of success to land some of those dream jobs that you have out there. And then finally conclude with some Q&A. All right. So a little bit about me and my background. So I mentioned I'm the Director of Inside Sales for the New York Mets. What that means, I'm in charge of recruiting, training, and developing the next future stars of sports sales with the goal of getting those individuals promoted to account executive level positions, ideally internally within the company. That is the foundation of our success. Personally, I grew up in Westchester County, New York, so like just north of the city. And I went to college out at Penn State. I was an economics major, and I wanted to do something a little bit outside my comfort zone. I went to these smaller Catholic high schools and grade schools as a kid. So I wanted to go to a big state school. It would also have a football team, and Penn State obviously has that. So while I was at Penn State, I was someone who knew they wanted to work in sports. I didn't really know to what capacity, and kind of some shame on me type of advice. If I could throw some advice you guys your way, as underclassmen or whatever ages you might be, definitely leverage your university, right? I mean, figure if you want to work in sports, find an opportunity to get involved with Ithaca baseball, football, soccer, whatever it might be, but at least start getting some experience and you start to get a feel for what you like and dislike about the industry and what you may want to pursue. And plus, it is a pretty small, tight-knit business. So a lot of times it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who knows you. And you could, just by starting off on your college campus and getting involved, that could lead to, you getting referred to the start of your career potentially. So, that's a lesson learned I had when I was in college. But nonetheless, I stayed passionate and committed and knew I wanted to work in sports. My first main breakthrough was with the Tampa Bay Rays down in Florida. So I kind of took a step to make a step, which you have to do in this business sometimes if you want to, get after it. I moved down to Tampa for the 2013 season to work with the Rays. Funny enough, I was actually texting a few of my buddies that are still down there on Saturday because obviously they're going back to the World Series now. So I was with the Rays, and then at the Rays is really where I recognized sales as a career in this industry. And there are two parts of sales. One, I really liked how there's, this is a serious opportunity for a career. Like there's opportunities for advancement into the high-end leadership realms or high-end selling positions. But I also came to discover what we actually do and what it takes to be successful, which really boils down to attitude and effort. And a lot of what we focused on is selling the experience of sport and relationship building. So I joined the Mets Inside Sales program back in 2013. I worked my way up into premium sales. I was also a manager in training, so I was developed as to how to run a high-level, successful inside sales program. Again, take a step to make a step. I was recruited to go out to San Jose for my first step in leadership, which was a passion of mine. So I moved out to California to work for the Sharks for a little over a year as the manager of inside sales. And then the Mets recruited me and brought me back on as director of inside sales the summer of 2019. All right, so working in sports, what comes to mind? What are some of the perceptions and the perks that we have out there? Let's go to Max P. What's your perception when it comes to working in sports, Max?
Well, it's a very competitive industry, obviously, but also it's something you have to be committed to because a lot of the time you're working weekends and holidays and whatnot. But if it's something that you're passionate about, it can be a very rewarding pathway.
Yep. Love your point about commitment there, Max. Like that's something that, it takes commitment, right? Like you're not just going to fall into this and immediately become director of inside sales or immediately become VP of a ticket sales team, right? Like you got to stay committed. You got to stay passionate. You got to be willing to ride through that adversity. Every career
Definitely.
has adversity, whether you're working in sports, Wall Street, real estate, landscape, construction. I don't care what it is. Like everything, every opportunity, every career has adversity, and the people who are able to, kind of ride that wave and keep that mental fortitude and commitment here, but also have that passion in their heart, are able to push through that adversity and see success for themselves and stay committed for the long-term goal. So love your point about commitment for sure. One thing I want to broach here, guys, is sometimes the perception of working in sports is, oh, I'm going to, get my foot in the door after having a conversation with Nick today, and I'm going to be the next GM of the team. Or, I'm just going to be the next Theo Epstein. And look, there is a path for that for sure. But there's a lot of opportunity in this business for career advancement that doesn't involve being a GM of the team. And I think sometimes college kids get too caught up in like, I want to be the GM, I want to be the GM, right? But there's a lot of other areas of opportunity to make an impact on the business side of sport, and it doesn't have to be by being a GM. And one of those ways is through a sales role. We have an enormous impact on the overall business. And there's enormous opportunities for advancement into leadership positions that have just as big of an impact as Brodie Van Wagenen, the Mets GM, or Theo Epstein, whoever, like VP of ticket sales, chief revenue officer. I mean, we're talking about strategy, development, revenue generation for a really big, a big market. All right. And certainly working in sports definitely has its perks. What do we think are some of the cool perks about working within sports? Let's go to William G. Will, what do you think?
I mean, just in the picture, you see the game, you get to kind of go and be a part of the atmosphere, really.
Yeah, the atmosphere, right? And I think, Will, you just hit a really good point. The atmosphere is as a sales team, as a sales professional, we have a huge impact on that atmosphere, right? I mean, that's one of the direct ways we get to impact the business and also impact the game at Citi Field, is because we put butts in the seats, right? And I think one of the cool parts about being a part of that atmosphere is you're really a part of something that's bigger than yourself, right? You're selling an experience that you can get behind. I know for me personally, like if you ask me as a kid, all my favorite memories or events, all involve going to sporting events. And now I have a career where I'm a part of something bigger than myself, and I get to pay it forward and set people up with similar experiences and memories that, I love and still do love going to as a kid and as an adult. We certainly have our fair share of other perks too, like working at a ballpark is pretty cool. Tickets, of course. But I think the biggest thing is, being a part of something that's bigger than yourself and, having it as far as a career for, for the rest of your life. All right. So sales, I was personally someone who, if you asked me in college, Nick, would you want to work in sports? Okay. Would you want to work in sales? I've been like, no chance. Like, I can't do sales. I don't know. I can't be the Wolf of Citi Field or the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not super aggressive or, kind of pushy. I'm not used car salesman-y. I don't want to lie and bait and switch and trick someone into buying. And I don't want to cold call, right? Oh, I don't want to pick up the phone and ask people, do you want to buy tickets over and over and over again? And to be honest with you guys, like, these perceptions and biases that I had could not have been more wrong about a sales career. All right. First off, when it comes to I got to be the Wolf of Wall Street, the Wolf of Citi Field, however you want to describe it. Like, we really pride ourselves on recruiting, training, and hiring you for you. We want you to be yourself. We want your personality, your intangible characteristics. Like, when you're yourself in the sales process and when you're yourself with your prospects and clients that you're on the phone with, that's how you build real, authentic relationships. And that's going to put you in a position of success to earn that person's trust. And they're going to then, at the end of the day, trust your recommendation. And the other part of our sales process, I know sometimes people think it's like, pushy or gimmicky or bait and switchy, almost like a used car salesman, right? Our process is literally based off what you've told me. So a lot of it's about building a successful relationship, asking impactful, open-ended questions, listening to what the prospect says, believing in the product, believing in the experience, and making a recommendation that's accurate to them. Sometimes a $100,000 seat isn't a fit for somebody, but guess what? Sometimes it is, being it's in New York City. Sometimes a season ticket plan isn't a fit for somebody, but a group outing of 15 or more people to celebrate their birthday party is a great fit, right? So a lot of it comes down to asking impactful, open-ended questions, having conversations, being yourself, build up that trust and that rapport, and then you can make an accurate recommendation. There's no tricks, gimmicks, or hacks in what we do. It really boils down to your effort, your effort, your attitude, and You're just being yourself. And the last part is the cold call, right? So, oh, Nick, like, I don't want to pick up the phone the rest of my life. Look, the phone is a huge part of our process. We do have a heavy outbound effort over the phone, but when we're on the phone, it is like so different than what I had perceived it as when I was looking at, like, you know, concerned about sales. This is not like, do you want to buy tickets? Do you want to buy tickets? Do you want to buy tickets? This is not being chained to your desk in a call center and making calls all day over the phone. Our sales process is very focused on relationship building. So in an ideal phone call, we're on the phone for about 8 to 12 minutes because we're sharing about ourselves, tapping into the emotion, nostalgia that prospect has with the team. And then we're really focused on face-to-face. That's a huge part of our sales process is it's two-step. We use the phone as the first step and face-to-face as the second step. So the more we're away from our desks and the more we're on face-to-face appointments, the better off we are and the more successful we're going to be. So the phone plays a big role in what we do, but it's a lot different than people perceive it sometimes. So as far as what is inside sales, this is very much your opportunity to combine sports and combine sales and make it a career for yourself. This is the first step. This is the entry-level developmental program. This is the, you know, for a baseball analogy, this is the minor leagues designed to help you get to the major league levels of sales. So this is really where you're getting an understanding of the best habits, practice, and process as to how to sell. We will literally teach you guys how to sell, and I am bulletproof confident in my ability to teach people to sell. We've got playbooks, roadmaps, process that is tried and true and would put you in a position of success to drive revenue. But what I can't coach are things like work ethic, attitude, believing in the experience, commitment, right? Some of the things we're going to talk about a little bit later on this presentation. But if you give us those, we'll teach you how to sell and we'll put you on the roadmap of success for a career in this business, all right? But again, inside sales, very much that entry-level developmental track where we'll teach you how to sell and teach you what it takes to be a successful professional in the industry. And the ideal, ideally promoting you internally to those account executive level positions. For more information too, this presentation does a good job of going pretty in depth, but if you want to see some names of our leadership team, get a little bit of a different picture, you can also check out mets.com/inside sales. We do have an official website and video there. All right. So as far as what we sell, we are on the ticket sale side of the business. So we sell season tickets, group tickets, suites, premium inventory. You know, inside sales representative with the Mets is full menu. So there's a lot at your fingertips that you can use to listen to your prospect and make an accurate recommendation. But we're not selling tickets. We very much focus on selling the experience. Let's go to Kyle DeSantis. Kyle, why do you think we focus so much on selling the experience of sport? How is that different than selling just like a ticket?
When you sell the experience of something, you can give the audience a recommendation of what could happen and why they should invest their time there. And if they believe that if they want to invest their time there, they can invest their time there. It's a lot easier to do, and it could be more persuasive as compared to just saying, hey, do you want to buy a ticket to a game?
Exactly, right? It's something that we can get behind. It's something that we can relate to. It's also something we can control, right? We have a direct control over the experience itself when someone comes out to games. I don't have control over ticket prices. I don't have control over inventory. I don't have control over wins and losses, who's hitting, who's the starting pitcher. But what I do have control is the ability to talk about the experience, sell the experience, get behind the experience, and most importantly, relate to that experience and share commonalities and stories about my favorite memories. Growing up to Jets football games, even though there's not a lot of success, obviously, but nonetheless, I still love going. So you don't even have to be a huge diehard Mets fan to be successful in this career. You just have to believe in the experience of sport. At the end of the day, that's what we sell. And that's why our prospects get invested, is because season tickets, a group, a suite, it's about the experience. It's not about wins or losses, and it's not about how much the ticket price is. So the pillars of our inside sales program. So process, commitment, growth, and purpose. These are things that we really value for ourselves, but also, value from candidates and recruits that we're looking to speak with. All right. So trust the process and the results will follow. What do we think is important about process when it comes to a sales position? What do I mean by process, do we think? Let's go to Justin Hulk. What do you think?
Have had decades of experience trying to sell tickets and trying to figure out the best way to get butts in the seats. I think you slowly develop a process, and if you follow the process, you will be successful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. Your mic was a little bit breaky there, but I heard you mention how we got to trust the sales process, and that'll lead to results, right? And at the Mets, we are very much a process-oriented organization. So what I mean by that is this is not I'm not going to share the team name, but one of my very first internships, even before the Rays, I joined a team and I was a sales intern, and I sat down at the desk, and the person literally dropped leads on my lap and was like, call them. I was like, oh, okay, like what do I do? And she was like, oh, just call them, like kind of figure it out. Like that's not how we define success with our process. We're very much we're very much focused on training and development. So the moment you join the organization, we have a hands-on 2-week detailed onboard to get you prepared for the phone call, the face-to-face, product knowledge, career limiting moves, mindset. I mean, you name it. Like we cover it in the onboard. Everything from the moment you pick up the phone, what to say, how to build a relationship, line of questioning, pitching the face-to-face, executing that face-to-face, overcoming objections, showcasing seats, closing tactics. So we're a process-oriented organization, and you've got to trust that process, and you got to believe in it because it is tried and true, and it will put you in a position of success to drive results. And at the end of the day, it works, right? I mean, this is our offense. This is what we've run to put ourselves in a position of success to drive revenue. And the people who trust that, they buy in, they believe, they don't just dip their toes in the water. They go all in and jump into this thing, are the ones who see results. Because if you kind of, have your doubts, have your concerns, laissez-faire a little bit, I'm going to do half of this, not all of it. I'm going to, kind of give 50%. Like that doesn't work. Like you got to go all in on the process. The other side of our process, so training and development is really important. The big part of our sales process, I mentioned, is the relationship building over the phone, but face-to-face is enormous for us at the Mets in regards to putting us in a position of success to drive revenue. Let's go to Garrett. Garrett, why do you think face-to-face is something that can put people in a position of success from a sales process perspective?
I think people, tend to enjoy face-to-face a lot more because there's more of a personal connection when you're talking to them, and you can really see and feel the emotion when you're trying to get that across in selling stuff.
Love it. Great point, Garrett. So absolutely, for the prospect, it puts them in a position of comfortability, a position of success, right? Because they're coming down to the ballpark and really getting a feel for what we have, to get a feel for what they like and dislike. And as a sales professional, we can tailor a more accurate recommendation that they're going to be excited about. The other side of that too, Garrett, is the emotion, right? We sell an experience. Like this is an emotional-based product, an emotional-based sale. So when someone comes down to Citi Field, we're having a good conversation, we're further developing that relationship, but we're showcasing the ballpark, tapping into the emotion, the memories. Like that's why people get invested, and that's how they get behind their own ideas and get excited about this. So it puts us in a great position of success to close business, but also puts the prospect in a position of success to secure something that's accurate to them and that they're going to be excited about and look forward to use going forward. All right. So trust the process and the results will follow. Okay. And we'll train you up and coach you and develop you that process to a T, I promise. From an onboard to biweekly training sessions after that onboard, to continuously sharpen the tools in the shed, to monthly one-on-one meetings with myself to help with your personal and professional development. We pump in a lot of time, effort, and energy in a developing process within our sales professionals. All right, commitment. You give us 9 months and we'll give you a career. We talked about this earlier, right? Like we got to stay committed to this as a career. This isn't just a promotion isn't just going to fall into your lap. Like you got to go out there and earn it. And I think one of the best ways to understand commitment is really thinking like job versus career. Do you guys have an idea what I mean when I say job versus career? Let's go to Ryan Bennett. What do you think I mean when I say like job versus career type of mindset?
Oh, sorry. I think like when I think of a job, like I think of more like kind of like what I'm doing like right now. Like me personally, I do landscaping during the summer. I consider that a job, not a career. I consider like a career something that I'm actually more like interested in and willing to invest a lot of my time into do something that I like doing.
Yeah, love it. Really good point, right? Like I think to your point, like landscaping for you right now isn't a career because you're not solely passionate about it, right? But you could potentially make it a career if you wanted to. Like for example, for myself, like I was someone who was always a waiter and bartender and worked in hospitality in high school and college, and I was offered a full-time position. But to be honest with you guys, I turned it down because I just didn't have that passion. Like I didn't have that excitement. It was really just a job for me as a way to like earn some extra cash for myself and pay for those textbooks that are crazy expensive, right? So like it's a career is very much having that passion, but also that long-term focus for yourself. So when you really come into your day-to-day as an inside sales professional and you're passionate about your craft, you're passionate about what you do, you approach every phone call, every meeting, every business day differently because you know the long-term returns it can have for your career, right? And you're truly passionate about it. So you're excited to come in every day. You don't have a job mentality where it's just like, okay, I'm going to do this for 9 months and then figure it out, right? The people who see success in our business are the ones that stay committed. And again, you give us the 9 months, we'll put you on the roadmap of success and give you a career in this business. But we need the commitment. You can't waver on that. And that goes for sports sales. That goes for any career, in my opinion. Like you got to stay committed, and you got to stay committed to yourself and your passion, right? All right, growth. So our comprehensive training and development platform challenges our representatives to constantly push themselves to grow on both a personal and professional level. Think of growth as like a willingness to accept coaching. Again, this is an entry-level developmental position, right? So Max P, why do you think it's important to have like that coachable mindset?
I think you want to have a coachable mindset so that you're able to learn, you're able to absorb the information that people are, or the wisdom that people are giving you. And so that you can grow on both a personal and professional level.
Yeah, for sure. Like you got to have that willingness to learn, right? Like you got to have that willingness to accept coaching, whether it's constructive criticism or positive reinforcements. I know I give my reps coaching all the time, and it's not because I'm a jerk or a bad person or don't want to see them do well or have a vendetta against them. It's they align themselves with me to help them. They align themselves with our program, with myself to help them grow a career, right? So if I see something and I don't give coaching, why do I even have this position? Like, why am I even the director of inside sales for the Mets? Like it's on you aligned yourself with me to grow a career. If I'm not giving you coaching, like shame on me. That's not going to help you get better. Right. So we give out situational coaching for sure when it comes to sales process. We have consistent training platforms where we continue like those biweekly business development training sessions where we really practice and focus on sales process and getting better there. Personal development as well, too. Like think about what you want to do inside and outside the office, how we can help you out there, having those conversations on a one-on-one basis. But the individuals who come in and are really willing to learn and not afraid of any sort of coaching are the ones who are able to see success, right? I think about for myself, like how much I've grown as a personal professional. Like a good example is I was, if you asked me 6 years ago to do a presentation like this to a group of college students, I would have said like, heck no. And if I had to do it, I would have been like absolutely bulletproof, sweating through my suit like crazy, right? But the Mets through, the feedback, the coaching, and also the process, one specific thing that I went through was our management and training program. I was developed as to how to recruit, how to train, how to public speak is one skill set we honed in and focused on. I got reps and coaching and reps and coaching and reps and coaching to the point where, I'm consistently confident in the process to public speak, to present. I'm consistently confident in the process over the telephone when we're calling a prospect. I'm consistently confident in the process when it comes to the face-to-face execution. So you see what I'm getting at? Just having that willingness to accept it, learn it, and absorb it, but also put in the reps is going to help you incrementally get better, 1% better each and every day, each and every moment. As far as career growth and what it looks like in our business, to lay out the picture a little bit better for you guys. So we do offer an internship. So for juniors entering their senior year, we do have an inside sales internship. This is actually pretty much the same thing as our full-time inside sales program. You go through the same training, the same coaching, the same onboarding. You're calling the same leads. You're executing appointments. You're literally even earning commission for yourself. So you're going back to school with hands-on sales experience. The only difference is the timeline because you have to go back to school. But we do offer an internship for juniors entering their senior year. Then comes our inside sales program. So for soon-to-be recent grads or people who may have even graduated recently, inside sales will be that first full-time step in our business. Then come like the major league levels of sales, right? And these are the areas that you can get promoted to. So one is our new business development team. These individuals have a heavy outbound effort over the phone and face-to-face focus when it comes to selling our season tickets and season ticket experiences. So targeting a lot of consumers, a lot of companies. Think of these individuals are very much proactively on the hunt consistently. This is the route I actually went after inside sales because I loved selling the season ticket experience. I loved the hunt. I loved going on the face-to-face meetings. So I personally went the new business route. Group sales. So group sales is almost like our event planners. So they target group audiences in the tri-state area. Think like churches, little leagues, Girl Scouts, whatever it might be, and getting those group organizations involved with the large experience in Mets baseball. 15 plus people, 100 plus people. I mean, shoot, we've had groups that are even as big as like 5,000 plus people for some big company outings. Our retention team, these individuals own a book of business. They're in charge with cross-selling that book of business, renewing that business year after year. So they own a book of season ticket holders and they form those relationships with the goal of renewing those accounts year after year, but also, again, cross-selling them and upselling them into different product lines. Post like the major league levels of sales, there are opportunities to move into the premium world if that's an interest and area of passion for yourself. Our premium representatives have a focus on our highest inventory. Think seats like behind home plate, behind the dugout, our suites. And the premium sales team is out there finding new business. So they're consistently on out of the office meetings with companies in the tri-state area, looking to get their business involved with the experience of Mets baseball to help their current clients, their prospects, their employees, whatever it might be, to the benefit of their business. And then our premium services team, they own a book of business year over year. And they're in charge of, just like our stats team, renewing it, upselling it, cross-selling it. But it is a smaller book of business as it is just like our premium clientele. So then there comes a fork in the road as far as this career in sports on the revenue generating side. And that's whether you want to move into management and leadership or do you want to move up into sponsorship. Personally for me, I was someone who had a passion for people, a passion for training, a passion for coaching, a passion for leading. And the Mets have a program, a management and training program, which puts you in a position of success to earn your first leadership opportunity, but not only just earn it, hit the ground running and see immediate success. So through this program, you really learn how to be a leader of people, process, strategy, and development. You're being taught how to train, how to recruit, how to have coaching conversations, how to strategize call campaigns, how to market into the New York City area, how to create leads, buyer incentives, seller incentives. I mean, you name it, like there's a lot of things that go into being a leader on the revenue generating side of sport. And our management training program does a great job of identifying account executives who have a passion, have a commitment, but also have a skill set for being a leader and giving them a platform to learn and, ideally grow into leadership one day. And then we also have a corporate partnership training program where individuals who want to move into that high-end, sponsorship role, think of selling like a brand like Geico, Budweiser, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, whoever it might be, working with big brands like that and getting them activated within, through the Mets to the benefit of their business and their customers. As far as career growth, since 2016, we have had 74 total promotions, 52 of which have been internal. So, we do very much pride ourselves as a program that develops its talent internally. And that's the foundation of our success. Our inside sales program is very much the heartbeat of our sales floor. And, what I love about our inside sales program and our sales floor is the culture, right? And we have a culture of people who, have all walked a mile in an inside sales rep's shoes, being they all went through the program. They know what it takes to be successful and they have each other's backs from a personal and professional perspective, but they're also pushing each other to bigger and better results. Like A's hang with A's, steel sharpens steel. So a lot of it has to do with the people and, the buy-in, the belief, and the process that we lay out to put people in a position to grow a career like this. Our last pillar here is purpose. So activity doesn't achieve results, have a purpose behind your work ethic. biggest thing to think about purpose is, this goes back to job versus career a little bit, in my opinion too, is you can't just like box check, right? Again, like this position requires outbound phone calls, face-to-face appointments, asking for referrals, right? But if you're just making a phone call to make a phone call because I tell you to, and you get held accountable to that on a call tracking sheet that we have, that's not career growing material. You got to have purpose behind what you're doing. And your purpose comes from your passion and belief in this being a career for yourself. So you will approach every single phone call differently, right? You're going to hang in the ring and fight to book a face-to-face and ask for that face-to-face maybe 3 or 4 times versus just asking once and giving up. So you got to have purpose behind what you're doing. Don't just box check. Come in with effort, passion, focus. Like, that stuff is contagious. That's career building type material. Okay. And then when it comes to purpose, you got to be proactive versus reactive. This is a career where everything is earned, nothing is given. In sales, especially, like if you want to sell, if you want to drive revenue, if you want to grow a career, like you got to go out there and make it happen. And what I love about our business is if you have a great work ethic, like a awesome, like kick-ass work ethic where you consistently can go above and beyond the call of duty and you really pride yourself on that, like I promise you bring this to this career, you will see success. Like I was somebody who always grinded as a kid, was a bartender on the weekends, waited tables during college, like just constantly on the grind to earn an extra dollar for myself. And again, I wasn't passionate about what I was doing, but I knew I had a strong work ethic. And once I recognized in sales that the more you put in, the more you're going to get out, that's where I was like, this is for me. Like, I know I can succeed in this just because I can literally will my way to success. And there's no tricks, gimmicks, or hacks, guys. Like, I'm in a leadership position genuinely because I earned it and I was proactive and I put in the work necessary to help myself move into this position. This didn't just land in my lap because, I know, I'm related to an owner or because I just got lucky. Like, that doesn't happen in this business, honestly. And then what's your why? Again, think about job versus career. What's that vision? What's that focus? What's that North Star for yourself? Think about your passion and, again, every career has adversity at times, right? I've certainly had some adversity in my career, but I think what genuinely, excites me, gets me up out of bed, like still why I'm still passionate about this is because at the end of the day, I actually love what I do, right? It's easy to think short-term and or immediate success or immediate happiness and like, oh, I faced a little adversity, I'm going to cave and give up now. Like, think about what's your why. Like for me, like I can't imagine doing anything different with my career, honestly. I got, no offense to other industries but maybe I'm biased but I don't think I'm biased. I'm just passionate. Like I have a lot of friends from high school that work in all different businesses, finance, real estate. And, I think, for me personally, like some of my friends honestly hate what they do, but they just do it because they have to do it and because it's a job. Right. And for me, like I can genuinely say like, this is my why. Like I love sports. I love the experience. I love the people I work with. I love what we sell. I love the process. That's what gets me out of bed every day and, keeps me moving forward and staying passionate and focused. Just have a genuine joy for what I do. And I, encourage you guys to find the same. Maybe it's sports sales, maybe it's not. But it's really important to find something you're going to be passionate about because it makes a huge difference in your life going forward. All right. So I want to dive into a little bit of a training topic here before we do some Q&A and talk through interviewing advice. So I've been on this real big kick recently, and I was telling Jen this too. We were brainstorming this training here for you guys today. I am someone who does a lot of interviewing for candidates who are looking to join our inside sales program. And there's a couple of things that stand out to me when I'm interviewing people. And, these stand out to me for sure, but I know these stand out to other recruiters throughout the industry. And I'm going to lay out some tactics here that can put you guys in a position of success to interview. One is your mindset. Okay. Now, one of the things to understand about let me flip it to you guys. What do you think is the mindset of a successful interviewer? Any thoughts out there? Max, go ahead.
Someone that has self-confidence but isn't cocky or arrogant.
I love the self-confidence piece, right, Max? And I think, here, just to relate it, like when I was in college, I used to get so nervous every time I had an interview, and it just like, it was like, I was like, I have so much to lose. You know, I got to get this position. I want this so bad. Like, it was like eating away at me, where I lost a lot of that bravado, a lot of that confidence. And at the end of the day, what do you really have to lose? You literally already don't have the job. You don't have the internship. Like, you can't go below not having it. You know what I mean? So like, think about that. When you go into an interview, you really do have everything to gain. Like, you already don't have the job. Like, you can't go backwards. You don't have the job. You know what I mean? So once you adjust your mindset and really focus on that self-confidence, like, that's going to be contagious to a recruiter. And I'm telling you guys, it's the same thing with sales. Like, if we don't believe in the experience, if we're not passionate about the experience, if we're not excited when we get on the phone call, if we're not smiling, if we're not being ourselves and dynamic, that's not like, why is the prospect going to be excited about this, right? Same thing with interviewing. When you guys believe in yourself, when you're passionate about yourself, when you're passionate about your goals, your visions, what you've accomplished, like, that's going to be contagious to a recruiter. Okay. So a lot of it is, you got to think about how you're saying it. You don't want to come across in an interview as, you know, obviously super nervous, but you also don't want to be monotoned either. Like, bring some energy, bring some passion, right? Like, that's things that we can feed off of, and that energy and self-confidence is contagious. And a lot of it's sometimes is about how we're saying and not what we're saying, right? So think about your mindset. The other thing that I'm on a, you know, huge interviewing kick for is the power of stories. All right. And the reason I bring this up as advice for you guys is, you know, think about, I get on an interview and, you know, not for like, you know how many times somebody tells me they're a hard worker? Like, who's ever going to say, oh, Nick, I'm great for this role because I'm not a hard worker. Everyone says they're a hard worker. Everyone says they have a good attitude. Everyone says they have a willingness to accept coaching, right? But the people who really believe it and have stories to back it up are the ones who are going to push the needle, right? Because you want to walk away from that conversation and think, you know, similar to a sales process, like, we want to walk away from the prospect. Like, what did I learn? What did the prospect learn about me? Well, think about, what did the recruiter learn about you? So when you're in a conversation in an interview room or a Zoom, think about when they challenge you, like, hey, Nick, talk to me about a time where you, like, you know, talk to me about your work ethic. Right? Like, oh, I'm a great worker. I work so hard. Like, okay, that's cool. But have some depth behind that. What's a story? What's an example? Give me a time where you really stepped up and went above and beyond the call of duty, right? Nick, like, talk to me about a time when you, talk to me about a time in your college career where you were really challenged to step outside your comfort zone. Like, what was the situation? What made you really uncomfortable, right? One time I did this internship and it was really good. It challenged me and I had to work from 5 to 8 every day after college, and I learned a lot. Okay, but what's the depth? Like, give me a specific example. Like, where did you grow? Where did you get better? What did you recognize about yourself? Right? Nick, give me an example of a time where you accepted some constructive coaching. What was it and what was it in regards to? Again, give me depth, give me substance, give me content, give me a story. Think about, what have I shared about myself that this recruit don't fit in, stand out? Like, what can I share about myself that's going to stand out to this recruiter and put me in the best position of success to take a next step in the sales process? But it all starts with buying in and believing in yourself and being self-confident. All right. So with that, I wanted to, throw it out to the group as far as interviewing advice before we dive into general Q&A about the whole presentation. What are you guys hearing? What are you struggling with? Where can I be a resource? What's some advice I can provide you from, like, an interviewing perspective? Are we all good?
We do such a great job in career services getting them prepared.
But I think, Jen, you bring up a good point, right? So something that we talked about, sales process, right? And process doesn't happen by accident. It happens with reps. And, I know career services offer the opportunity to do mock interviews. Like, I know it sounds weird. It sounds crazy, but if you're going for a position or you applied for a position, you have an interview, like, take advantage of the resources or take advantage of an accountability partner that's your friend. Like, don't be shy to role play that interview. When I had an interview for the MIT position at the Mets, the management and training position, they gave me like a run sheet and, what to expect and what I needed to present on. I didn't just go in there and wing it. Like, I kid you guys not, like, I literally practiced for that interview 4 times, twice off my now fiance and twice off my buddy who started with me in inside sales and works at the Jets now in premium sales. I literally took the path to his apartment in Hoboken to practice off him. Like, you got to get reps and practice and necessary, because that's going to build confidence, but also, it's going to build confidence in yourself, but also in what you're saying and your ability to get behind it. So don't be shy to like role play interviews, even if you feel like it can help you. I used to do that all the time. Like, there's no shame in it.
Not at all.
All right, but we can also flip it to general Q&A here. What questions do you guys have on the sports, sales, inside sales, working at the Mets, interviewing advice? Where can I be a resource for you guys? How can I help you out? We've got a solid 15 minutes here still. Max, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious. How has your department adapted or adjusted over the past year due to COVID-19? Because obviously, with the restrictions, you weren't really able to sell that baseball experience at Citi Field this season. So how's your department adapted to COVID-19?
Yeah, I gotcha. So a few things there. Certainly we have had to adapt, right? And I think that's really the power of process, Max, is we have a leadership team that does a great job of game planning, strategizing, and rolling out process and game plan to put us in a position of success to still be able to drive revenue and see results, right? So, first off, like, kudos to our leadership team for being able to be so proactive and forward thinking. They've really strategized to help all of us. And we have had to adapt, right? Obviously, this past season, there were no fans at Citi Field. So we really focused on strategizing for getting those individuals who were involved with 2020 and how to get them invested into 2021. And now we currently are, a little bit back to normal with baseball selling. The main differences are we're not at Citi Field. We're still in a work from home environment, but we are on sale for the 2021 season. And, at the end of the day, like, sure, COVID has impacted our business, but we can only control what we can control, right? And we can only control the experience. And when we're on the phone with a prospect, sure, we don't want to sound tone deaf. I mean, we bring up COVID, we talk about it, we share about, working from home, those sort of, like, working from home, how it's been going for the prospect. Like, we can't be tone deaf and just totally ignore the situation. But at the end of the day, we sell an experience, right? So once we have that casual banter and that conversation and build up some trust and rapport there, it's time to transition into the experience of baseball, how Nick fell in love with baseball, how he fell in love with the Mets, what are his favorite Mets memories, and that's what we sell, right? So that helps us, still drive revenue for 2021. So yeah, we've had to adjust a little bit, but it's more so from being out of the office and just tweaking our roadmap a little bit. But we're pretty back to business as usual. And there's a demand out there. Like, there's certainly people that are hesitant to get invested and concerned about COVID, but there's also a lot of people who are dying to get back to normalcy, dying for sports, dying to go to a baseball game, and are excited for coming out to games again in 2021.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I have a quick question. I was wondering, like, any advice for someone who's interested in this field but isn't sure on, like, if this is the right career path? I know you mentioned, like, career path and having that passion and long term, but I was just wondering, how do you know if sales is the right career path for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's Carolina. Is that how you pronounce your name?
It's Carolina.
Carolina, I'm sorry. All right, Carolina, I appreciate the question. So as far as recognizing if this is a career path for you, I think don't be shy to attend sessions like this, right? So you get a feel for, is this something I like, dislike, maybe not. Don't be shy to follow up with me as well. We could certainly set up a one-off conversation to, talk through your career, what you're interested in, what you're passionate about. Going to events like this, getting involved on your college campus if there's opportunities to explore the sales world, so you get some hands-on sales experience. But at the Mets, personally, we actually do we don't have one scheduled right now, but we sometimes do these events called inside sales workshops, and it's a full day event. But what it does is it really gives you the opportunity to like put the uniform on for a day and go through the training, go through the phone calls, gives you a good taste as to like what you would be doing day in and day out. So you can decide if this is the first step I would want to take for my career. So, excuse me, I think there's a few ways, right? I think you got to diversify your portfolio a little bit, explore your resources that are at your fingertips, and just ask the questions, right? And don't be shy to ask any question, flip every stone upside down to cover it. And, you also got to be honest with yourself, right? I'm really passionate about this. I love what I do. I do believe, though, also that sometimes sports sales finds you. You don't find it. Like a lot of people on our sales floor didn't even know sales was a fit for them. And it found them and they've made a career out of it. But you got to have an honest reflection for yourself. Like, having gone through a presentation like this, like, is there some things that you could see yourself doing and being successful with? And if so, like, definitely follow up with me and we can explore that.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Any other questions out there? Jen, is there anything I may not have hit on that you'd want to explore or dive deeper on for the students?
No, I think you did a great job. And, just as a plug for career services, I encourage all the students and alumni in attendance. You have our services for life. Take advantage of them. Mock interviews. Carolina, I can help you find an internship in a sales role that might help you decide whether or not that's for you. We have a lot of great events and things happening. So certainly keep on the lookout and stay engaged, and we can help you with more opportunities like this.
Awesome.
And thank you, Nick. This was fantastic.
Oh, you're really welcome. I appreciate you organizing this for me. I hope this was beneficial for you guys. If you liked what you saw, think you recognize something like, oh, I want to pursue this, or I want to learn more information, a couple things. You can check out the website and video, mets.com/inside sales. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can drop me an email. My email is first initial last name @nymets.com. Feel free to drop me an email and we can set up a follow-up and we'll take it from there. But I appreciate you guys' time. If I can help in any way going forward, just please reach out, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.